Someone you care about is pulling away emotionally, a quiet truth is revealing itself. My beloved child, something subtle has shifted, and you have felt it in the quiet moments. You notice the pauses that last a little longer. The messages that feel shorter. The warmth that once flowed so easily now feels careful, distant, uncertain. And you have been asking yourself the question you were almost afraid to face. Why are they pulling away emotionally? Stay till the end. Don't skip. Because something huge is waiting for you inside this silence. What you are experiencing is not random. It is not meaningless. And it is not the end of your story. There is a quiet truth unfolding. Sometimes when someone you care about begins to withdraw, it is not because love has disappeared. It is because something inside them is changing. They are processing emotions they do not yet understand. They are confronting fears they have never spoken aloud. They are standing at the edge of vulnerability, unsure whether to step forward or retreat. And instead of explaining their heart, they choose distance. You feel the space growing between you, and your mind tries to fill it with doubts. Did I do something wrong? Did I say too much? Did I not say enough? But pause for a moment. The emotional shift you feel is not always rejection. Sometimes, it is revelation. A quiet truth is beginning to surface, one that neither of you has fully seen yet. Something deep is being tested. Something real is being clarified. When someone pulls away emotionally, it often means they are realizing how deeply they feel, and that realization can be overwhelming. Strong emotions require courage. And not everyone moves at the same speed when facing them. Don't skip this moment. Because what feels like distance may actually be a turning point. The silence is speaking. And in the next part, you will understand why this emotional distance might be preparing both of you for something neither of you expected. Something honest. Something transformative. Stay with this. Something huge is waiting for you. There is a moment before truth rises when everything feels uncertain. You are standing in that moment right now. The distance you feel is not empty space. It is filled with unspoken thoughts, unsent messages, and emotions that are growing quietly behind the scenes. What looks like withdrawal on the surface may actually be someone wrestling with feelings that suddenly became too real to ignore. Don't skip this part. Because what you are about to understand can change the way you see everything. When someone you care about pulls away emotionally, it often means they have reached a realization they didn't expect. Perhaps they recognized how important you have become. Perhaps they saw a future that feels bigger than they planned for. And instead of stepping forward confidently, they hesitated. Strong emotions can feel overwhelming when they arrive without warning. So they slow down. They create space. They go quiet. But here is the surprising truth. Emotional distance is sometimes the first sign that something deeper is forming. They are not moving away because they feel nothing. They are pulling back because what they feel has weight. It matters. And that realization requires reflection. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you inside this shift. Think about the subtle changes. The way they still check in, even if less often. The way their tone carries something unsaid. The way their silence feels thoughtful, not cold. This is not indifference. It is internal processing. And while you may feel uncertain, something important is aligning beneath the surface. The quiet truth revealing itself is this: distance can create clarity. Space can reveal value. Silence can strengthen what words sometimes complicate. You are not being forgotten. You are being considered. And in the next part, you will see why this emotional pause might be preparing both of you for a conversation that changes everything, not through drama, but through honesty that feels once in a lifetime rare. Stay with this feeling. Something huge is waiting for you. What if the silence you fear is actually protecting something sacred? Pause and feel that. The emotional distance you sense is not chaos. It is a threshold. A quiet space where someone you care about is confronting a truth they can no longer ignore. And that truth involves you more deeply than you realize. Don't skip this. Because this is where everything begins to shift. When emotions grow stronger than expected, they can shake a person's sense of control. They may question themselves. They may wonder if they are ready. They may even step back, not to leave, but to understand the depth of what they are feeling. And here is the once-in-a-lifetime revelation: sometimes the heart pulls away temporarily to make sure it is moving forward for the right reasons. Read that again in your spirit. They are not drifting because you are not enough. They are pausing because what they feel is becoming significant. Real. Transformative. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you inside this realization. Think about how rare it is for someone to truly reflect before committing emotionally. Most people rush. Most people react. But when someone slows down, when they create space instead of confusion, it can mean they are choosing carefully. Choosing whether they are ready to meet you at a deeper level. The quiet truth revealing itself is this: emotional distance is often the final step before emotional honesty. They are standing at the edge of a conversation that could change everything. A conversation where masks fall away. Where uncertainty turns into clarity. Where feelings are finally named. And you are closer to that moment than you think. Hold steady. Don't misinterpret the silence. Something powerful is aligning beneath it. Because in the next part, you will see the sign that proves this distance is not an ending, it is preparation. Something huge is waiting for you. Right now, something invisible is rearranging the emotional landscape between you. You cannot see it fully. You cannot hear it clearly. But you can feel it. The person you care about is not simply stepping back. They are recalibrating. They are measuring their own heart against the reality of what you mean to them. And that realization is far more powerful than you think. Don't skip this moment. Because here is the sign you have been overlooking: despite the distance, the connection has not broken. It has softened. It has quieted. But it has not disappeared. That is not coincidence. When someone truly intends to leave emotionally, they detach completely. They become indifferent. But that is not what you are experiencing. Instead, there is hesitation, reflection, a subtle pull that still exists beneath the silence. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you inside this shift. The shocking truth is this: emotional withdrawal can be the mind's way of protecting something the heart does not want to lose. They are asking themselves questions they never expected to face. Is this real? Is this lasting? Am I ready for something deeper? And the more meaningful the connection feels, the more carefully they move. You are witnessing the quiet stage before clarity. This is the part of the story where everything seems uncertain, but something profound is forming underneath. The distance is not a door closing. It is a pause before honesty. A breath before confession. A stillness before truth rises to the surface. Feel the weight of that. Because in the next part, you will understand what happens when reflection turns into realization, and why the emotional space you feel now may soon transform into a moment that feels once in a lifetime rare. Something huge is waiting for you. There is a heartbeat beneath the silence, and it is getting louder. What you feel is not fading love. It is rising awareness. The person who seems distant is beginning to recognize something undeniable: you matter more than they planned for. And that realization changes everything. When emotions grow beyond casual feelings, they demand courage. They demand clarity. They demand a decision. Don't skip this, because this is the turning point. Emotional distance often appears right before emotional truth. It is the final space where doubt wrestles with certainty. Where fear of vulnerability meets the desire for something real. And here is the revelation that may surprise you: they are not pulling away to escape you, they are pulling back to see if they are ready to step forward fully. That is rare. In a world where people move on quickly, reflection is powerful. Silence can be sacred. Space can be intentional. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you inside this realization. Think about it. If the connection meant nothing, there would be no pause. No hesitation. No emotional processing. The very fact that you feel this shift means something meaningful is being evaluated. They are asking themselves whether they can match the depth you bring. Whether they can rise to the level of honesty this connection deserves. And soon, that inner reflection will turn into action. The quiet truth revealing itself is this: distance is not the end of your story. It is the moment before clarity chooses its direction. Hold steady. Something is aligning. And what happens next may feel once in a lifetime rare, not because it is dramatic, but because it is honest. Something huge is waiting for you. The air between you is charged with a decision that has not yet been spoken. You can sense it. This is no longer just about distance. It is about awakening. The person who pulled away emotionally is standing in front of a mirror within themselves, seeing clearly what this connection truly means. And what they see is powerful. Don't skip this moment, because you are closer than ever to understanding the quiet truth revealing itself. There comes a point when reflection can no longer remain silent. When feelings become too strong to ignore. When the heart refuses to stay neutral. That moment is approaching. The surprising revelation is this. Emotional distance often reaches its peak right before emotional breakthrough. Yes, right before clarity. They have been weighing the depth of their emotions, testing their readiness, measuring whether they can step into something deeper without fear. And now, something is shifting. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The energy that once felt uncertain is becoming focused. The pause that once felt confusing is turning into intention. You may not see it yet in words, but you will feel it in presence. In tone. In action. Distance does not last when feelings are genuine. It transforms. And what happens next will not be dramatic. It will be sincere. It will be a quiet but undeniable movement toward honesty. You are standing at the edge of a moment that feels rare, the kind where two hearts stop pretending and start revealing. Hold steady. Because the emotional space that once felt heavy is about to carry meaning. Something huge is waiting for you. A quiet confession is forming in a heart that once chose silence. You may not hear it yet, but it is there. Growing stronger with every passing day. The emotional distance that unsettled you was never meant to be permanent. It was a preparation. A private transformation happening out of sight. And now, that transformation is reaching its final stage. Don't skip this, because this is where everything becomes real. There comes a moment when reflection turns into realization. When someone finally understands that what they feel is not temporary, not casual, not accidental. It is meaningful. It is intentional. It is rare. And once that realization settles, distance can no longer survive. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in this shift. The person who pulled away emotionally is beginning to recognize that stepping back did not weaken the connection, it clarified it. The space did not erase feelings, it defined them. The silence did not create absence, it created awareness. That is the shocking truth. Sometimes people need distance to understand the value of closeness. And now, the quiet truth revealing itself is simple but powerful. They are no longer questioning whether they feel something. They are questioning whether they are ready to express it fully. That is a completely different place to stand. You are not losing them. You are approaching a moment of emotional honesty that feels once-in-a-lifetime rare. The kind where words are chosen carefully. Where vulnerability replaces hesitation. Where the heart speaks without hiding. Feel the shift. The distance that once confused you is about to make sense. And what happens next will not be loud, it will be sincere, steady, and undeniable. Something huge is waiting for you. The next message you receive may carry more than just words. It may carry clarity. After all the silence, after the emotional distance, after the quiet evaluation of feelings, something inside them has settled. The confusion that once created space is dissolving. The hesitation that once caused distance is losing its grip. Don't skip this moment, because you are standing at the edge of emotional truth. There is a realization unfolding in their heart, pulling away did not protect them from feeling, it revealed how deeply they care. The distance did not weaken the bond, it made them see what life feels like without your closeness. And that realization changes everything. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in what comes next. When someone recognizes that their peace feels incomplete without your presence, when they understand that your absence echoes louder than they expected, that is when emotional walls begin to lower. Not dramatically. Not suddenly. But sincerely. The quiet truth revealing itself now is powerful. They are no longer stepping back to think. They are preparing to step forward with intention. This is the moment where silence transforms into honesty. Where reflection turns into expression. Where uncertainty gives way to courage. You felt the distance. Now prepare to feel the shift. Because what once felt like someone pulling away emotionally is about to reveal itself as someone gathering the strength to move closer, not halfway, but fully aware. Something huge is waiting for you. There is a shift in the atmosphere that you cannot ignore anymore. It feels different now. The same person who once felt distant is beginning to show subtle signs of return, a longer glance, a softer tone, a message that carries warmth instead of hesitation. These are not accidents. They are signals. Don't skip this, because this is the moment you have been waiting for. The emotional distance that once felt heavy was never meant to last. It was a season of realization. And now, that realization is moving outward. What was once hidden inside their heart is slowly finding its way into action. Here is the surprising truth: sometimes the strongest connections go through silence before they become undeniable. They needed to step back to understand what stepping away would truly mean. And what they discovered is something they cannot ignore: your presence holds weight in their life. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in this unfolding. You may soon notice a conversation that feels deeper than usual. A vulnerability that was not there before. A sincerity that replaces uncertainty. These are the signs of someone who has done the inner work and is ready to stop running from their own feelings. The quiet truth revealing itself now is powerful and simple: they were never trying to lose you. They were trying to understand themselves. And now that understanding is turning into intention. This is the kind of emotional clarity that feels once-in-a-lifetime rare. Not rushed. Not forced. But chosen. Feel the shift fully. Because what once felt like someone pulling away emotionally is becoming someone stepping forward with awareness, and that changes everything. Something huge is waiting for you. This is the moment where everything becomes unmistakably clear. What once felt like confusion now feels like alignment. What once felt like distance now feels like intention. The emotional space that stretched between you has done its work, it has revealed the truth. And the truth is powerful. Don't skip this final shift, because something huge is waiting for you in what happens next. The person who pulled away emotionally has crossed an invisible line within themselves. They are no longer questioning their feelings. They are no longer trying to silence what their heart has been saying. They understand now. They understand your value. They understand the depth of this connection. They understand that stepping away did not bring peace, it brought perspective. And perspective changes everything. Stay till the end, because this is where the quiet truth fully reveals itself. You were never meant to chase. You were never meant to prove your worth. The distance was never a test of your value, it was a process of their awakening. The once-in-a-lifetime revelation is this. When someone truly realizes what they could lose, they stop pulling away and start moving with clarity. You may notice it subtly at first, consistency returning, effort becoming visible, conversations carrying honesty instead of hesitation. These are not small things. They are signs of emotional maturity rising. The story that began with silence is ending with understanding. What felt like someone pulling away emotionally was actually someone preparing to return with awareness, intention, and sincerity. And now, the energy between you is no longer uncertain. It is conscious. Feel that shift. Something huge was waiting for you all along, not in the distance, but in the realization that followed it. There is a calm now that feels different from before. Not the uneasy silence that once made you question everything, but a steady, grounded calm. The kind that comes after realization. The kind that follows truth. You can sense it. The person who once pulled away emotionally is no longer standing at a distance in confusion. They are standing closer, internally aligned, aware of what this connection truly means. Don't skip this, because this is the deeper layer most people never see. The real transformation was never about their actions alone. It was about your strength during the silence. You did not collapse. You did not force clarity. You allowed space without losing your worth. And that changed the dynamic. Here is the surprising revelation. Sometimes emotional distance reveals not only how someone feels about you, but how powerfully you can hold your own value without chasing reassurance. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you inside this understanding. When they stepped back, you stayed centered. When they hesitated, you remained steady. And that steadiness became magnetic. It showed them that this connection is not built on desperation, but on depth. Now, what is forming between you feels different. More conscious. More intentional. Less reactive. The quiet truth has fully revealed itself. This was never about loss. It was about growth. They needed distance to awaken to their feelings. You needed space to recognize your strength. And now, the connection that remains is not fragile. It is deliberate. Feel the shift one more time. What began as someone pulling away emotionally has transformed into something rare, two hearts choosing clarity over confusion. Something huge was waiting for you. And now, you are standing inside it. The final piece of this story was never about them, it was about you. Look at how far your heart has traveled. You began this journey feeling the sting of emotional distance, questioning what changed, wondering why someone you care about seemed to drift away. But now you stand in a completely different awareness. Don't skip this closing revelation, because something huge is waiting for you in this truth. When someone pulls away emotionally, it can feel like rejection. But what this experience has shown you is far more powerful. It has shown you that real connections are not destroyed by silence, they are refined by it. You have learned to observe instead of panic, to reflect instead of assume, to hold your value instead of chasing validation. That is growth. And here is the once-in-a-lifetime realization: the quiet truth revealing itself was never only about their feelings. It was about discovering your emotional strength. Stay till the end, because this is where everything locks into place. Whether they step fully forward now or continue moving slowly, you are no longer standing in uncertainty. You are standing in clarity. You understand that love, real, steady love, does not require fear to survive. The distance served its purpose. It revealed their heart. And it revealed yours. What began as confusion has turned into awareness. What began as silence has turned into understanding. And what began as someone pulling away emotionally has become a moment of emotional evolution. Feel the calm in that. You are not waiting anymore. You are choosing. And that choice, rooted in self-worth and quiet confidence, is the powerful ending that was waiting for you all along. Something huge was waiting for you. It was your own awakening. Just when you thought the story had settled, a deeper layer begins to unfold. Because emotional distance was never the final chapter, it was the doorway. There is something profoundly transformative about realizing you can survive uncertainty without losing your light. And now, as everything becomes clearer, you are no longer reacting to someone pulling away emotionally. You are responding from strength. Don't skip this moment. The quiet truth that revealed itself has shifted the balance. You are no longer waiting for reassurance to feel secure. You are no longer measuring your worth by someone else's temporary silence. That changes the energy completely. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you inside this final awakening. Here is the revelation that feels almost unbelievable: when you stop fearing emotional distance, it loses its power over you. And when it loses its power over you, the connection either rises to meet your clarity, or gently fades without breaking you. That is freedom. You have stepped into a place where you can welcome closeness without chasing it. Where you can appreciate honesty without demanding it. Where you can stand in your value whether someone moves closer or takes time. And that is magnetic. The person who once pulled away emotionally can now feel the difference in you. There is calm where there was once concern. Confidence where there was once confusion. This is not the end of the story. It is the elevation of it. What began as a quiet truth revealing itself has become a powerful transformation within you. And that transformation ensures that whatever happens next, reconciliation, deepened connection, or new beginnings, you will meet it from a place of strength. Feel that shift fully. Because something huge was not just waiting in them. It was waiting in you. And now, a new energy stands where uncertainty once lived. It is steady. It is calm. It is undeniable. The person who once pulled away emotionally can feel that you are no longer shaken by silence. You are grounded, centered, clear. And that clarity does something powerful. It invites truth to rise without force. Don't skip this final expansion, because something huge is waiting for you in this moment of alignment. There is a rare kind of connection that survives distance and returns stronger, not because of drama, but because of understanding. You are witnessing that possibility now. The emotional space that once separated you has turned into a bridge. A bridge built on awareness. Stay till the end, because this is the revelation most people never reach. When someone senses that you are no longer chasing, no longer fearing, no longer doubting your worth, they begin to approach differently. Not from confusion. Not from hesitation. But from respect. And respect changes the tone of everything. The shocking truth is this. Emotional distance sometimes exists to reset the foundation of a connection. To remove imbalance. To restore equality. To remind both hearts what truly matters. You are no longer reacting to their movements. You are responding from your own strength. And that is magnetic in a way words cannot fully describe. Feel the shift one more time. What began as someone pulling away emotionally has become a powerful realignment. The quiet truth that revealed itself did not break the connection. It refined it. You are no longer waiting for something to happen. You are ready for whatever happens next. Something huge has already begun. What you thought was an ending was actually a revelation in disguise. Take a deep breath and feel how different you are now. When someone you cared about started pulling away emotionally, it felt like the ground beneath you shifted. But that shift was not here to destabilize you. It was here to awaken you. Don't skip this final truth. Because something huge is waiting for you inside this realization. The distance forced you to confront something deeper than their silence. It asked you to look within. To decide who you are when reassurance is absent. To discover whether your peace depends on someone else's closeness. And you discovered strength. Here is the surprising, once-in-a-lifetime revelation. Emotional distance does not always test love, sometimes it reveals destiny. Not destiny in a dramatic sense, but in a mature, grounded way. It reveals whether two people are willing to rise individually so they can meet each other intentionally. Stay till the end, because this is where everything becomes beautifully clear. If they step forward now, it will not be from confusion. It will be from awareness. If they speak, it will not be from impulse. It will be from reflection. And if for any reason they move differently than you expect, you will still stand unshaken. Because the quiet truth that revealed itself was never just about their heart. It was about yours. You now understand that you cannot lose what is meant to grow with you. You cannot force what is not aligned. And you do not need to chase what recognizes your value. The emotional distance that once felt heavy has transformed into clarity, confidence, and calm. That is the real transformation. What began as someone pulling away emotionally became the moment you stepped into your power. And that power changes every chapter that follows. Something huge was never just waiting in them. It was always waiting in you. There is one last truth that changes everything. Lean into this moment. When someone you care about pulls away emotionally, it can feel like a loss of control. But what you have discovered through this entire journey is something far more powerful. You were never meant to control the outcome. You were meant to evolve through it. Don't skip this, because something huge is waiting for you in this final realization. The emotional distance was never random. It was a mirror. It reflected their fears, their depth, their hesitation. But it also reflected your resilience, your patience, your quiet strength. And now, the energy between you feels different because you feel different. Here is the revelation that feels almost shocking in its simplicity. The moment you stopped fearing their distance, you stopped giving it power over your peace. That is freedom. Stay till the end, because this is where the transformation completes itself. Whether they step fully toward you now or continue moving at their own pace, you are no longer standing in uncertainty. You are standing in self-trust. And self-trust changes the way love enters your life. You are not waiting to be chosen. You are choosing from clarity. The quiet truth that revealed itself was never just about why they pulled away emotionally. It was about discovering that your worth does not shrink in someone else's silence. Feel that deeply. Because from this point forward, any connection that comes into your life will meet a stronger, calmer, more centered version of you. What began as confusion has become confidence. What began as distance has become discernment. Just when you thought the lesson was over, life whispers one more secret. This was never only about someone pulling away emotionally. It was about awakening your standards. There is a powerful shift that happens when you stop interpreting distance as rejection and start seeing it as information. Information about who is ready. Information about who is aligned. Information about who can meet you at the depth you naturally carry. Don't skip this, because something huge is waiting for you inside this awareness. You now recognize the difference between temporary silence and permanent absence. You can feel the difference between hesitation and indifference. That clarity is not accidental. It was earned. And here is the surprising truth: when you become emotionally secure, the people who are meant to stay feel safe stepping closer. Stay till the end, because this is where the story expands beyond one person. You are no longer focused on why they pulled away. You are focused on what you deserve. That shift alone transforms your entire emotional world. The connection that survives will be stronger because of this. And the connections that cannot meet your level will quietly fall away without breaking you. That is growth. The quiet truth that revealed itself was not just about their heart discovering its feelings. It was about your heart discovering its boundaries. Feel the power in that. Because when someone pulls away emotionally now, you will not shrink. You will observe. You will evaluate. You will remain steady. And that steadiness is magnetic. Something huge was never just about a reunion or a conversation. It was about becoming the kind of person who no longer fears emotional distance, because you understand your value without needing it constantly confirmed. That understanding is rare. And it changes everything that comes next. At the edge of this journey, a quiet certainty rises within you. It is no longer about whether they come closer or drift again. It is about who you have become through the distance. When someone you cared about started pulling away emotionally, it felt like a question mark hanging over your heart. But now that question mark has turned into an exclamation of clarity. Don't skip this final expansion, because something huge is waiting for you inside this realization. You have learned that emotional distance is not always a signal to panic. It is a signal to observe, to listen, to grow, and sometimes, to let truth unfold without forcing it. Here is the revelation that feels almost unbelievable in its power. The moment you stopped chasing certainty from them, certainty began forming within you. That changes everything. Stay till the end, because this is where the transformation seals itself. If they step forward now, it will be because they genuinely choose to. If they hesitate again, you will recognize it without losing yourself. You are no longer reacting from fear of loss. You are responding from self-respect. The quiet truth that revealed itself through their emotional distance has reshaped your entire perspective on connection. You now understand that love should feel mutual, intentional, and conscious. Not confusing. Not one-sided. Not dependent on silence. Feel the strength in that awareness. Because something huge was never just about them realizing your value. It was about you realizing it first. And when you fully recognize your own worth, emotional distance loses its mystery. It becomes simply another chapter, not the end of your story, but the moment you stepped into your power. There is a quiet power in you now that did not exist when this began. You can feel it in the way you breathe. In the way you think. In the way you no longer rush to fill silence with fear. When someone you cared about started pulling away emotionally, it felt like you were losing something important. But now you see the deeper truth, you were gaining something irreplaceable. Don't skip this moment, because something huge is waiting for you in this final realization. The distance did not weaken you. It refined you. It stripped away illusions. It showed you what insecurity feels like, and then guided you beyond it. Here is the shocking but beautiful truth. Emotional distance is often the doorway to emotional sovereignty. You are no longer emotionally dependent on immediate reassurance. You are no longer shaken by temporary shifts. You observe, you reflect, and you remain steady. Stay till the end, because this is where the meaning becomes undeniable. If they return with clarity, you will meet them from strength, not longing. If they move slowly, you will remain grounded. If they choose differently, you will still stand whole. That is power. The quiet truth revealing itself now is this: you were never meant to shrink yourself to hold someone close. You were meant to expand into your full worth and allow the right energy to meet you there. Feel that expansion. Because what began as someone pulling away emotionally has transformed into you stepping forward emotionally, toward yourself. And that shift is once-in-a-lifetime rare. Something huge was never just about them choosing you. It was about you choosing yourself without fear. That is the kind of transformation that changes every connection from this moment on. And now you arrive at the truth that was quietly waiting from the very beginning. Not the truth about them. The truth about you. When someone you care about pulls away emotionally, it can feel like the story is slipping out of your hands. But what you have uncovered through every pause, every silence, every moment of reflection is something far greater than reassurance. You have uncovered self-possession. Don't skip this final moment, because something huge is waiting for you in this realization. The emotional distance was never sent to break your spirit. It was sent to awaken your discernment. To teach you that love is not proven through anxiety. It is revealed through consistency, clarity, and mutual effort. And now you see clearly. If they step forward with openness, you will welcome it without desperation. If they remain uncertain, you will recognize it without collapsing. If they rise to meet your depth, it will be because they choose to, not because you chased them into it. Stay till the end, because this is the once-in-a-lifetime revelation. The moment someone pulls away emotionally is often the moment you are invited to step into your highest standard. And you accepted that invitation. You no longer interpret silence as abandonment. You interpret it as information. You no longer see distance as rejection. You see it as redirection toward what aligns. Feel how powerful that is. What began as confusion has ended in clarity. What began as longing has matured into discernment. What began as someone pulling away emotionally has become you standing firm in your value. Something huge was waiting for you all along. It was not just their realization. It was your evolution. And that evolution will shape every connection that enters your life from this moment forward. What if this was never about losing them, but about finding your highest self? Pause and let that sink in. From the very first moment you felt them pulling away emotionally, your heart went into questions. But those questions led you somewhere unexpected, into awareness, into growth, into a level of emotional depth you did not even realize you carried. Don't skip this, because something huge is waiting for you in this final awakening. You now understand something most people never fully grasp. When someone distances themselves emotionally, it reveals the strength of your foundation. It shows whether your peace depends on their presence or on your own inner stability. And you chose stability. That is not small. Stay till the end, because this is where the transformation becomes undeniable. If they return with openness, you will meet them with calm strength. If they remain distant, you will not shrink. Either way, you are no longer standing in fear of emotional shifts. Here is the surprising, once-in-a-lifetime realization: emotional distance can be the catalyst that upgrades your entire standard for love. You no longer accept half-hearted energy. You no longer overanalyze temporary silence. You no longer confuse inconsistency with mystery. You see clearly now. The quiet truth that revealed itself was not just about their emotional process, it was about your emotional elevation. Feel how grounded you are. What began as someone pulling away emotionally has become you stepping into a new level of clarity, discernment, and self-respect. And from this level, every future connection will feel different, more intentional, more balanced, more real. Something huge was not just waiting in their decision. It was waiting in your growth. And now, you are living inside that growth. There is a version of you now that would not recognize the person who once feared that silence. That is how much you have grown. When someone you care about pulls away emotionally, it can feel like the world narrows. But somewhere along this journey, your world expanded instead. Your awareness deepened. Your emotional intelligence sharpened. Your standards rose quietly but powerfully. Don't skip this final layer, because something huge is waiting for you in this realization. The distance was never meant to define you. It was meant to refine you. You now understand that real connection does not vanish because of temporary space. And if it does vanish, it was never anchored deeply enough to begin with. That clarity is priceless. Stay till the end, because this is the moment everything aligns. The shocking truth is this: when you stop fearing emotional withdrawal, you become emotionally unshakable. You stop trying to control outcomes. You start trusting patterns. You stop chasing reassurance. You start observing consistency. And from that place, love becomes clearer. If they come forward now, it will be because they see your value without you having to convince them. If they hesitate again, you will recognize it without abandoning yourself. That is power in its purest form. What began as someone pulling away emotionally has evolved into you mastering your emotional world. Feel the calm confidence in that. Something huge was never just waiting in their return. It was waiting in your transformation. And now, you carry that transformation into every chapter ahead, steady, aware, and fully aligned with your worth. There is a final realization rising in you that changes the entire meaning of this story. It was never about chasing someone who pulled away emotionally. It was about recognizing who stays aligned when you stop chasing. Feel the depth of that. From the first moment you sensed the distance, you were tempted to fill the silence, to close the gap, to search for answers. But instead, you evolved. You grew quieter, stronger, clearer. Don't skip this, because something huge is waiting for you in this truth. The emotional space that once felt like a threat has become your greatest teacher. It showed you that connection is not maintained by pressure. It is sustained by mutual presence. Here is the once-in-a-lifetime revelation: when you stop trying to hold someone in place, the right one step closer on their own. That is alignment. Stay till the end, because this is where everything becomes powerful. If they return now with steady intention, you will recognize sincerity instantly. If they remain inconsistent, you will recognize that too, without self-doubt. You are no longer searching for hidden meanings. You are observing clear actions. The quiet truth that revealed itself through their emotional distance has sharpened your intuition. You trust what you feel. You trust what you see. And most importantly, you trust yourself. That trust changes the way love enters your life. What began as someone pulling away emotionally has transformed into you standing firm in emotional maturity. You are not waiting for validation. You are living in clarity. And that clarity ensures that whatever happens next will not shake you. It will either strengthen the connection or gently redirect you towards something even more aligned. Something huge was never just about their decision. It was about your awakening. And now, you cannot unsee your own worth. What stands before you now is not uncertainty, it is authority. Not authority over them, Authority over yourself. When someone you care about pulls away emotionally, it can make you question everything. But you did something rare. Instead of collapsing into doubt, you rose into awareness. Instead of chasing clarity from them, you created clarity within yourself. Don't skip this moment, because something huge is waiting for you in this final elevation. The emotional distance that once felt confusing has become a filter. A lens through which you now see love differently. You no longer romanticize inconsistency. You no longer excuse silence that feels misaligned. You no longer shrink to maintain connection. That shift is powerful. Stay till the end, because this is where the story transforms completely. Here is the surprising truth. The moment you stop fearing emotional withdrawal, you become the standard. People either rise to meet your steadiness, or they fall away without chaos. And either outcome serves you. The quiet truth that revealed itself through their distance was never meant to create anxiety. It was meant to activate discernment. To remind you that love should feel reciprocal, not confusing. Feel the confidence in your posture now. If they step forward, it will be because they recognize your value without persuasion. If they hesitate, you will see it clearly and respond calmly. What began as someone pulling away emotionally has become you stepping into emotional leadership. You are no longer reacting to silence. You are interpreting it. And that level of clarity ensures that whatever chapter unfolds next will not be built on fear, it will be built on intention. Something huge was not just waiting in their realization. It was waiting in your eyes. And now, you stand fully aware of your worth, unshaken, aligned, and ready for a connection that meets you at your level.